Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division with the tournament win here for the Night Sky tournament in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content for free. Last but not least, get the best guides on the market by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. If you would be so kind, don't forget to hit thumbs up. Can we get this video to 300 thumbs up? That would be absolutely amazing. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the elevation adjustment, club distance adjustment, but also what ball and club type I do suggest you to play with. Have in mind that you do not need to follow the suggestions that I give you, but there is always a plan behind it. But enough talk about that, and let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we will be starting with a very good opportunity here for an eagle, and we are going to start by playing with a driver called Apocalypse. I'm playing just before +1 yard mark with the red ring by the rough line, using 5.8 bars topspin and 3 bars of side spin to the right. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance +10. And then we're going to take our shot. We're not going to push up, even though we fall down into the bunker. We're using 3/4 of the ball outside the adjustment ring to the right. And one thing that I want you to have in mind is if you play with an Apocalypse level 4, you should be starting at the +6 yard mark instead. And if you play with an Extra Mile level 8, you should be playing at the +4 yard mark instead as a starting point. This to compensate for the different power on your drivers to make it consistent into the distance here. And in the end, you know, just to take that drive again, because I do think that is important to have the differences here. So the Apocalypse level 5 plus, because all of them from level 5 plus have 240 yards, okay? That means that you will start just before it turns into +1, as you can see there by your club. Apocalypse level 5, level 6, red ring by the rough line. And if you do have an Apocalypse level 7, level 8, you go with half of the blue ring inside the rough line to the right, due to different accuracy, and therefore the rings have a different size. So now we got to see that again, but a lot to talk about that. I want you to understand the thought process behind the drive there. And now when it comes to the yardage, which I forgot to tell you before, then we do have a yardage that is 354. From 354, I will be playing with the Grizzly, and I will be playing with a Grizzly rough bump. Top of the yellow ring by the rough line, 1 bar of side spin to the right, and then we will be using topspin that's going to be somewhere between 3.2 to 3.5 bar topspin. The important part is that you do want to have the ball guideline to go 1 green square through the hole to compensate for the headwind. Now I do adjust with no elevation, and I play 86% sliders, so 9 rings for an 8.3 miles per hour. The thing that you will notice here is that I do hit a perfect ball, but I just barely miss to the left side, which means that my shot is under adjusted. So the thing that I need here is that I need 1 decimal extra to get this one to drop, as look how close it is. So 88% slider from 354 yards. So 88% slider from 354 yard mark, no elevation. Then you will be super close, if not getting that one to drop for a nice eagle on hole 1. For hole number 2, I'm actually starting with a Marlin ball, or like a power 0 ball, so I can find maximum distance of my club in an easy way. 4.5 bar backspin and half a bar of side spin to the left. And once I found maximum distance with a power 0 ball, I do change then to a power 2 win 5 ball, like a turkey for an example, or whatever power 2 that do have win 5. Adjustment here in this video, I play maximum distance +20, but you will notice that I will still miss to the right here, so I would recommend us to play maximum distance +25. bounces on the fairway nicely, and we get that ball down towards the pin, and we barely miss. So we need a couple of extra decimals. Max plus 25 is what I would continue to go with here for hole number 2. For hole number 3, I'm going to give you 2 type of approaches. One where we do play over to the left with an interesting ID, which still needs some work. Here we do need to get the ball a bit higher up and closer to the right than what I'm aiming. So in this case, I would recommend to aim as we're doing here now with the red ring, like this by the rough, but we're gonna add an extra component in a bit as well. Or not in a bit, but by talking about it. Adjustment medium distance plus 10. And here, with this drive, I would like to add some curl to the right. So I would like to add the right side of the ball to be just by the right side of the adjustment ring to the right. Now, a great left put myself further away from the pin, which in the end does not give me the distance that I want to. I want to be closer to have an easier time, especially with a sniper level 10. If you do have a sniper level 10, then go with sniper level 10, because then you do have the top spin. If you do not have a sniper level 10, you go with a cataclysm instead, trying to go for a rough bump here. I do believe the rough bump is going to be easier to drop, but you can obviously go with a fairway bounce up if you feel more comfortable with that. But I like to play this type of rough bump, or let's say like this. I do enjoy to at least give it a go, because I feel that removing the wind from the second bounce there in a good way is going to be super helpful. Coming in around 1 green square to the right, so it is over adjusted, but need a little bit less. I played that one around 80% slider. Now we need to play medium distance and really take down the adjustment a little bit. Speed wise it was fine though, and interesting for sure for hole number 3. I'm going to show you a little aggressive way going on the right hand side. Still some stuff needed to be working with there, but it comes now. For hole number 3 now, for the more aggressive approach, I'm playing out to the right using a power 5 ball, and the thing that I'm looking for here is to position myself for a rough bump for the second shot. Using 3 backspin, 2 bars of right spin, and now I'm stretching out to put the target to be just straight, like in the middle, pointing towards the fairway there. I don't know how to explain it in a better way, unfortunately. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 10. Once that is done, I will push up to absolute very max. Push up the max, and then it's time to add curl. We're not going to go with any overpower here, so I'm using 3/4 of a ball outside the adjustment ring to the right. Bounces nicely on the fairway. We do have room from the rough on the back there, and we get into a very nice spot here, 362 yards. Now the second shot, the drive is one thing, but the second shot here needs some work. The thing that I would like you to have in mind here is that I would not recommend to play with side spin. And the reason I don't want you to play with side spin is because then we put ourselves more right, and as we do have such a small strip of rough to play on, we will, with this type of setup here, have to aim left of the pin if we're gonna use side spin, because we won't be having the ball to turn that much right as we want to. We will clip the rough in the way that we want to, but once again, we do need to remove the side spin and just play with top spin. Ball guideline should go just to the hole here, as we do have tailwind and the ball will be pushed a little bit more. But as you can see, we clip the rough in the way that we want to, but once again the side spin needs to be removed, so we keep the bounce in the same way, but we will be going more direct towards the pin. So again, there obviously needs some work on this one here, but something good to work on for sure. For hole number 4, I'm going to give you 2 type of approaches, something to work on for sure. Here I'm using a Wind 5 Power 0 ball, and you do need to have a wind that is below 6 miles per hour, otherwise you will 100% go in between clubs. Here I'm going to use, in this case, as you can see here, I'm using 7 bars of backspin, can't even see it myself. And then I'm lining up with the top of the yellow ring by the rough line, ball guideline to the hole. However, though, I do feel that we do need 6.5 in terms of backspin. Adjustment here should be with a 12:01 pull angle. Unfortunately, I'm playing with actually an 11:59. And I'm also adjusting a little bit more than I was needed. So if you count the rings, that was not minimum distance plus 40. So with this win, we should not go in between clubs, even though it's going to be close towards it. Need a little bit more backspin, and so a little bit more backspin. But honestly, this may not be the absolute ultimate way to play if it's not gonna be a very low win for you with a win 5 power 0. Any other win 5 power 1 plus ball, you're gonna go in between clubs all the time. For hole 4, once again, sniper. I'm using 3.5 bar top spin, 3 bars of left spin, and you will notice that I'm putting half of the red ring inside the bunker, and the top half of the top of the red ring by the rough line ball guideline should be going towards the hole. Is at least the plan. So ball guideline going to the hole, and here once we're done with that, we're going to adjust for medium distance plus 40. So we do adjust for the medium distance plus 40, and then I'm going to pull back, and you see here I pull back 1 ring, but we only need half a ring as pullback, because now we will drop a little bit shorter than expected, and we will notice that the ball will fall short, but honestly be in line if we do have more speed. But now it turns a little bit to the right there in the end, just because we don't really have the speed enough to follow through. Good option though if we do not want to play with the rocket and the win 5 power 0. For hole number 5, we are looking to have the driver with the most power possible here. So I'm using 6 bars of topspin, or like 5.8 with Apocalypse level 5, and then 3 bars of left spin. Half of the red ring inside the rough line to the left in absolute maximum distance. Here there is such a great value in having a 240 power driver. So with 240 power driver, I play with 3 rings of overpower. If I will be playing with 235 approx driver, extra mile level 8, Apocalypse level 4, I would go and play instead with 4 rings of overpower to try to get into the same distance here. 378 yards. And now, listen. The thing that you should do here to maximize the possibility for you to drop this shot every time is to always find minimum distance with your Grizzly, okay? So here you can see that I am just in minimum distance with my Grizzly, and I'm looking for the ball guideline to be going to the hole from there. You need to have the ball guideline to go a little bit through the hole, this to prevent the ball from falling short. And also, an extra tip here, pack the runner or any other short iron that is a common club, because then it's going to be a much easier time for you to find minimum distance of your club. So try to do that, and then from minimum distance completely, it's going to be minimum distance minus 15% all the time. Okay, so all the time minimum distance minus 15, and you will see how nicely this one comes in right at pin for a lovely eagle. So if you follow that thought process to always find minimum distance, be smart to pack a short iron that is a common club to make sure that you are at the minimum distance line, then minimum distance minus 15, get in the hole. For hole number 6, I'm going to give you a conservative approach. We are working with a more aggressive approach as well, but I will get back to you with that on the channel once we do have something solid to show you. First, maximum topspin here with the big topper, and we're looking to add 1 bar of right spin as well. Focus on the ball guideline to be straight down the middle. That should be your aiming point. Once that is done, we're going to go with a medium distance with no elevation. It may sound strange, but please leave 3 rings of the difference between, you know, your bullseye and the rough line, because with Tailwind on this hole, it has a really weird carry. Sure, we know that in Tailwind the ball will carry further, but this one is actually very strange. Now we're getting the ball guide, sorry, not the ball guide, but the ball down the fairway in a very nice way, and now we're looking to play with our horizon or our cataclysm towards the green area. Okay, we don't need maximum topspin here for this shot. We do need to at least have 6 bars to use, and the thing is, if you're using too much, which I've done a couple of times on this hole, is that you will go over the green and you will roll into the rough. And if you roll into the rough there, that's such a pressure shot, that's not an easy one. So make sure that you either just land it nice and safe on the green, or you go short and have a simple wedge towards the pin for an eagle. Is this an albatross hole in my opinion? No, it's not. But as always, when we work through a hole, especially with Tailwind, we may see ourselves having like a max distance wood club for the pin at least. But at the moment, we are looking for a safe way getting the eagle, and that is going to take us a long way when it comes to the tournament. For hole number 7, I'm going to attempt a rough bump, and here I'm using a Wind 5 Power 1 ball to reduce the wind and make this shot a little bit easier for myself. I'm using 2.9 backspin, so just before the 3 bars of backspin. Ball guideline to the hole with the top of the yellow ring by the rough line. And now I'm looking to have an 11:59 pull angle with my shot, meaning that the arrow is pointing center left. Okay? Maximum distance plus 10 power 1 ball is what we need. I'm actually not adjusting that here. I'm adjusting 1 decimal less than that. And if we would be adding that extra decimal, this would have dropped right at pin for an absolute beauty. For hole number 8, the thing that I'm looking for here is not to go for green, and it's not either to go directly over to the fairway. I'm actually going to bounce into the rough and roll out on the fairway above. And this is because I do want to get ourselves a possibility with a short iron from close to medium distance. So I'm looking for a consistent drive instead of trying to push it hard to get as far up as possible. I'm going to talk about that a bit more in a bit. Maximum distance plus 10, the ball, your left side of the ball to be just outside the adjustment ring to the left, and it bounces into the rough and it rolls out, and we get this one close to 350 yards. 347. From 347, you should be playing this one 74% slider, no elevation. And the thing that I'm doing here is that I'm putting half of the red ring into the fringe, and I'm using 1 bar of backspin, which is going to equal ball guideline to the hole. Okay, so here I'm having mid with no elevation in the info box, is because I cannot show you any in between, but this is in between mid and max with no elevation. So 74% slider, no elevation when it comes to if you're using a slider or not, which you can only get into an application. And here we see we do adjust. Again, I'm having no spin, sorry, not no spin. I'm having 1 bar of backspin with this shot, and it bounces nicely here, and we get that one to take the pin on the right hand side in for a lovely eagle. This is an absolute must if you're gonna have anything to do with winning the tournament in Expert. Hole number 9, I do think there is value in playing with a power 4 ball. And the reason I think there is value is because that doesn't put that much pressure on the fact that we, when we do play with a power 3 ball and need to get the distance. The fact is though, we do need to get the ball over to the fairway in a way that we could have an attempt for the albatross in 2. I do play with Apocalypse level 6 here, which is the same power as Apocalypse level 5, using 6 bars of topspin and then 2 bars of side spin to the left, using then 3/4 of a ball outside the adjustment ring to the left. I do, however, think, based on how this one bounces, that we could go with one ball of curl outside to the left there. The thing is though, if we roll into the rough, it's not the end of the world. You will still be able to reach to the green to take your eagle. But the problem is, if we do get this short, as I did here, we do have a rough bump to play. And I'm going to show you a video here where I actually make a mistake, and I'm going to explain this to you because it's very easy to do the same. The second shot here is very much uphill. You play it negative 20%, which means it's uphill and the ball is less affected by the wind. I leave the ball guideline short because the thing that's going to happen here now is, like, when I do adjust, I'm going to have the ball go a little bit higher up due to tailwind. And if you do go, especially with a phone call, if you do go with the with your target too close to the rough as we're doing there, and you can see here that I hit the rough, but there is a massive glitch roll there that could get you to go into the rough on the back, which is something that we do not need to do. Like, we cannot do that because that will not be good. So what should we do? If you do tweak the drive a little bit and get yourself a little bit higher up on the fairway, then sure, keep the sniper, especially if it's sniper 10. Otherwise, I would recommend you to play with a Cataclysm or a big dog to give yourself a little bit more room, a little bit more distance, a little bit more topspin for the rough bump, or that you can bounce on the fairway above the rough and go with a backspin shot towards the pin. Still some work to do here, but this is definitely something to work with for hole number 9. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Expert Division with the tournament win here for the Night Sky tournament in Golf Clash the game. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel and also hit the thumbs up before you go. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. A massive thank you for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.